Jack Ebling here with Lindsay Huddleston. It's another Press Pass preview, and we are here at Michigan State's Duffy Daugherty building, the Scandalera Center, and what's known as the Weave, the indoor practice facility. We're sitting in a golf cart in the back of the cart here. Meanwhile, practice going on for the Lansing Catholic Cougars and DeWitt Panthers, each 2 wins away from state championships, Division V and Division III, respectively. Michigan State football, not in contention for any championship.
Tables turn, huh?
Still in position where it could get to a bowl game. And Lindsay, there are only 9 schools that have been to a bowl game every year during the Mark D'Antonio era. Michigan State has been there 11 of 12, hoping to make that 12 out of 13, but it's going to take 2 wins to do that. And Michigan State headed to Rutgers, as are you.
Yeah, looking forward to getting on the road, to going to New Brunswick. Rutgers will be there. Hopefully what can be a win. I remember asking Antoine Simmons, how big is this game? And he said it's huge. He said we haven't won since the end of September, so to potentially be a part of that would be great. But looking forward to that road trip.
Well, if you're looking for good news, if you're in the glass half full club, it was 2012. Michigan State was in a similar situation. Needed to win the last game of the year to be bowl eligible, to be 6-6, and did that on the road at Minnesota, and then went on and played in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl and got a big win there over TCU, and that jump-started them on to the next season when they won the Rose Bowl. It'd be much more difficult to do that now, but we know today that Mark D'Antonio says he does plan to be back as head coach next year. A lot of concern, would that happen? What the best way would be for Michigan State to move forward? And I don't think anyone's firing him. It's his choice, and he's chosen to stay.
It is what it is. I mean, people can have their feelings about what they feel about him, the season, but it seems like he's going to be here. And with the dynamics or the politics, if you will, there's no one really to push him out, if you will. So we have to prepare for what he's going to do. But the question becomes, what changes will be made? And I think that's the big question for everybody.
And he said that he'll deal with that after the season. He's not going to talk about which coaches he may or may not keep with 2 games to go, but he said he will be back. And they're still recruiting. They have a national prospect on campus this week, he said. And so the question's been coming up. Every school in recruiting says, you don't want to play there. That coach is going to be gone and be fired. So he said that is not going to be the case, and he wants to come back. He wants to complete the circle. Some people said the circle would be complete at 7-6 because that's what it was when he started in 2007. But he wants to do much more than that, and he told a story about coming home after a 15-hour day, and he reached up, grabbed something to put on to wear to bed, and he put it on, he looked, and there's a Rose Bowl logo. So I don't know if that was foreshadowing his intent. I asked him what would make him realize that his mission is complete, and he said that it could be a lot of different things. So what he did say was that this is not all in his control, but if he has anything to say about it, he'll be back on the sidelines next year.
Well, again, people are going to feel different ways, but the one thing it does do, it brings some continuity, it brings some consistency. There is some stability, if you will, in the fact that they know who the head coach is, and that may help. There may be a recruit that says, I don't care what the record's been, I've always wanted to play at Michigan State, I know what you're capable of, and for the glass half full type people, they'll be able to respond well to that.
No one can question what Mark D'Antonio has done. I think it's one of the 3 best coaching jobs over a decade of anyone in Big Ten history. Hayden Fry took over at Iowa. They hadn't won anything in 20 years, and suddenly they're in a bunch of Rose Bowls. Same with Barry Alvarez. Mark D'Antonio, 3 Big Ten championships, had a 36-5 run that will never be equaled at Michigan State from 2013 to 2017. 3 Big Ten titles, college football playoff. He has the 3rd most 11-win seasons of any coach in league history. Has a lot of things going that he has accomplished, including 8 wins over the University of Michigan, 8-5. And there are only 4 coaches in Big Ten history that have beaten Michigan 8 times.
Wow.
So he has done a ton, and much more than I ever expected when he was introduced late in 2006. That's not the question. The question is, what can Michigan State be in the future, and better yet, in the near future, with so many defensive players leaving, so much uncertainty on offense. But Lindsay, they did play 12 true freshman against Michigan.
There's something you said. I mean, when you list those statistics and what Coach D'Antonio has accomplished, it's almost like who can you bring in to try to even come close to that? And I think right now people are kind of caught up in the here and now as opposed to the bigger picture. And people want what they wanted. But wow, when you talk about his career and what he's done, I can kind of understand why he says I want to give it another shot and try to correct a few things to kind of make sure the legacy is what he thinks it should be.
Recruiting has been questionable. Certainly, if you look at the recruiting rankings, if you believe that, Michigan State not bringing in a lot of top prospects. Urban Meyer last weekend said the big difference is the Michigan State he coached against had NFL guys. This team does not. So if you don't find those guys, you're probably not going to beat Ohio State and Michigan for the top prospects. But if you get the next guys and polish those stones and then display them properly, you can get a lot of mileage out of that, as Michigan State did. But they're going to have to do a better job of that. They're going to have to do a better job of teaching, of inspiring, of motivating, because this team has not had focus. It has made so many mistakes. It hasn't been particularly well coached in a lot of ways, and fans are saying, well, get rid of the coaches. But they're Mark D'Antonio's coaches, and they're doing basically what he wants them to do.
Not with that announcement today, people can finally take a breath, good or bad or indifferent. But do you think it sets a process in motion? Does it set a recruiting process in motion? Does it set, a perspective in motion as far as no matter how you feel, Coach D is going to be here, so this is the direction we're going to be going in. Is there some benefit to that announcement today, you think?
There could be. For a lot of the people I've heard from, they're happy with that. They think Mark D'Antonio's done enough that he deserves to try to fight his way out of this. And once again, if they do wind up with a winning season, it's Mark D'Antonio who's raised the bar. Michigan State used to be 500, a little bit more, and go to a bowl game. People were having a ticker tape parade. Now, if you don't win double-digit games, you haven't done anything around here. So he's built the monster, as Tom Izzo says, and now he's got to feed it.
And in feeding that monster, does he have to release, or will he release, significant members of his coaching staff?
I think he has to look at that long and hard. He isn't going to say what he's going to do right now, but certainly there was a reason that he gave them one-year contracts. So this would be a chance for them to prove that this could work. It has not. So he's going to have to look long and hard at who he keeps, where he needs to improve and invigorate the staff, maybe get some younger coaches in. I don't know whether that's 2 coaches, 4 coaches, 6 coaches. I have no idea how many people might change, but I would be very surprised if he rolled out here for the season opener next year with the same coaching staff.
I agree. It's so funny you talk about that. I was able to talk to offensive coordinator Brad Salem about this generation of athletes, and he did agree it was about being able to connect with the athletes. And I think when you talk about the youth of the coaching staff or the perspective of the coaching staff, it's going to be really important to connect with these athletes, to be able to build them up, inspire them, and have them buy in.
Well, Brad Salem could not have been happy with the offensive performance at Michigan, and turnovers and the errant throws, drop passes, penalties. Tough to get a 30-yard penalty on a play. But Michigan State has done that all year. It's not the 4 losses by 144 to 27, or the games that gave away to Arizona State and to Illinois. It's all of those things, plus the fact they just haven't looked like a well-coached team.
Right. It's so funny. We were talking about discipline, and you and I sat in many press boxes throughout the Big Ten, and we saw the little things, not wrapping up for tackles, and these little things. And it's so ironic. We're watching high school players who are preparing for a potential state championship, and they have to live by the little things to get to where they are. So it's almost like you got to get back to basics. You got to get back to this level right here, and it's almost a situation juxtaposed. You got these guys who are going to be locked into that, and we haven't seen it with the others, and you wonder just what that's going to lead to in the future.
These teams that are still alive in high school football, I guarantee you, they haven't gotten here by making the mistakes Michigan State has made this year of lining up offside too often, of not having at least 7 players on the line of scrimmage on offense too often, not being able to get 12 on the field, not being able to get 11 on the field. They had 12 on the field. That's been the problem. But so many of these things that have impacted Michigan State this year are correctable. some of the skill development things, and you saw the speed difference between Michigan and Michigan State. You saw it between Ohio State and Michigan State.
Oh yeah,
it's real.
it is. It is.
And it doesn't matter which coaching staff you bring in, if you don't have the athletes that can execute the plan, you got problems.
Right. Well, we may be looking at some future Michigan State Spartans here, but looking at the future, want to talk about press pass?
Yeah, we have the Michigan State Rutgers game. We've got Michigan State hockey. Big weekend series against number 3 Notre Dame. Michigan State hot right now, but playing the Fighting Irish. Haven't swept them since 2006, I think it was. So it's going to be interesting to see the reaction after the sweep of Michigan, and then Michigan State basketball heading to the Maui Invitational. Games next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And you'll be on Press Pass?
Yes.
Looking forward to that. You'll be on with Tom Crawford and Rico Beard, I believe. So that'll be big fun Sunday nights at 11 on Fox 47. And we'll get Lindsay's take. He's responsible for bringing back a win from Piscataway.
No pressure, no pressure.
We'll see you Sunday night on Press Pass.